Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Geek Authority and Holzheimer's Distribution Show. We have an amazing special guest. She's beautiful. She's talented. She's just an all-round wonderful human being. And if you ever get a chance to meet her, talk to her, make sure you do because you'll love it. You'll always come back because it's Chase Masterson. Hi,
Hi.
Chase.
Hi, Lorenzo and MaryLee. I love you guys so much.
How are you? How are you
I'm
doing?
well. It's nice to be hanging out with you guys, and I'm here because you're wonderful human beings. And how long have we known each other? You're old friends, and it's nice to see you.
Many, many, many years, and I tell you, not the things you're doing now. In the world situation we're in, and it's kind of sad we have to do the box thing, but being safe
Yeah,
is all important. But
so important. First, more than anything, I just want to say I hope everyone is staying safe out there, and thank you for having me in this context. Hopefully, we'll all be in the same room again, but until then, stay safe.
absolutely, absolutely, and we want to talk about you today. We want to talk about, if you notice, I came dressed appropriately.
You
She's
did.
an organization, and we'd love to hear about how the coalition works and what you're doing now, especially.
Well, thank you. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. And I first want to say that this work is only possible because of people like you wearing that shirt and old friends like you and Michael and like you, MaryLee, who have, just supported and encouraged and had so much goodwill in conventions for so many years. That's what's given this work its start. And the next thing will, everything else is built on those shoulders, on your shoulders, my shoulders, our collective shoulders as a grassroots group of friends just wanting to make the world better. And now I'm excited to say we're doing some pretty big things.
Cool.
Yeah, so I founded Pop Culture Hero Coalition in 2013 as the first ever organization to make a stand for empathy and inclusion over bullying, racism, misogyny, LGBTQI plus bullying, cyberbullying, and other forms of injustice. And we use stories we love, like Star Trek, Doctor Who, the Avengers, etc., to make the world better because we know these stories hold incredible meaning. That's why we love them. That's why they're so popular. These transcendent stories of heroism are stories that we use in schools and in Comic Cons to teach children, teens, and adults real life heroism. So, yeah, I mean, why not be Wonder Woman? Why not be Black Panther, T'Challa? Why not be Batman? And so it's wonderful to see superheroes in real life cropping up all over and doing things for the world.
Wow. So what do you guys do as far as right now I probably everything's a little geared back because of obviously social distancing, but what are you guys doing out there? What is
Well, thank you for asking. So we started creating a curriculum for schools in 2016, and we piloted it after 3 years of creating it with psychologists. So we use psychologists and veteran educators to create an entire school curriculum that falls under the heading of mental health and fits into health classes and also other classes in schools. It can be taught in homeroom or after school, um, different types of programs. And what we do is a 32 lesson plan curriculum that teaches kids healthy identity because that's why people bully, because they're not healthy inside. And so we teach empathy by really first going back to each child's roots and finding out who they are, how they came to be, why they have the biases and likes, why they have the personalities, overall, life perspective that they do. And then we go in and we teach empathy and resilience and self-compassion, which is so important. And we teach, it's basically the origin story. Every hero has an origin story.
right?
We as friends have origin stories, meeting probably in the dealer's room at some convention. That's our ground zero. So everyone has an origin story of their own. And it's really important that we address that because otherwise people do tend to act out of fear
Right.
from things that are not familiar to them. And that's why bullying and hate
How do
occurs.
how did the kids respond to this? How do they?
Well, we've had an incredible response overall in the work that we do. Um, our pilot program was last fall, and then we were scheduled to put the work out widely after finishing the pilot in January, collecting the data, and redoing a couple things in February. And no joke, we were scheduled to launch this in March. And then the world shut
2020.
down. So where we're at is we've worked in a limited number of schools. We worked in schools in Chicago and in uh, a rural town in Colorado, and strangely in Australia. We had some piloting going on, and also we've worked with a school that was um, that was the site of a school shooting, and our team actually has worked with two of those schools, and the response is incredible. The response is really, really powerful. We are we don't have a huge amount of kids in schools that we've worked with yet because our program hadn't been fully released yet. But in Comic-Cons, we've estimated that we've worked with 142,000 children, teens, and adults. And people come up and say, "You're saving lives," on a regular basis to us. So I'm sorry to go on, but I'll just tell you in response to your saying that coronavirus, during this season that we're scaled back, actually we're busier than ever. And here's why. When we realized that schools were closing and we weren't going to be able to put our work out widely as we had worked toward for so long, we immediately thought of kids and teens and parents and others, just every person at home in isolation, dealing with financial issues, dealing with depression, anxiety, loneliness, fear, dealing with relationship issues, kids at home who maybe LGBTQ kids whose parents don't understand them, who don't support them, um, volatile situations of all kinds at home. And I thought, we've got to do something for those people right now because that's what's happening. So we adapted our curriculum very quickly in an intensive time of about 3 weeks. And I was working 15, 16-hour days to put this together with our psychologists and educators to create these lesson plans for them at home. So it's called the Heroic Journey at Home. And it's available for free on our website because we feel that people should be able to access help without having to worry about the money. So we raise the money and it's available. So there's lessons on resilience and building fortitude and how to navigate loneliness, how to navigate isolation, how to navigate family conflicts.
Wow. Now
It's all there.
Is all this on your site? Because I'm going to put a link on the.
It is.
So I'll make sure the link is down there. So you guys want to check it out and go to the site. In fact, when I was there's a lot of pictures and things of past events you've done, what you're working on, and it was just amazing to see I want to see the kindness that's out there, and hence be kind.
Thank you.
I mean,
it's your kindness. That's, like I said, it's your kindness that's built this program. It's very difficult to qualify for grants. When you're a young organization, grant makers want to see track record, understandably. So we put this together $25 at a time with people like you guys buying a Be Kind t-shirt saying, "I love the message. I believe in the work. I believe that we can make the world a kinder place." And that's how we built it. It's crowdsourced empathy.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I'm a volunteer. This money doesn't go to me. Most of our team has worked at least a huge amount of volunteer hours. My colleague you've met, Raymond Litster, who does all of our merchandise with Alberto Rodriguez, they are volunteers. And we do pay our educators and our psychologists because we need to. So that's where it goes. And I'm grateful that it's working.
Awesome. You're doing an amazing job, and probably more families are happier because of this. And you may not hear all of it, but I can feel it just by watching. I mean, when she goes to the conventions, they have a table. she's there, for the fans signing her. She's got CDs and pictures and all that, but it's the Be Kind that's kind of like right there, right out in the open. And you're so grateful when you talk about it. It's like, how can you not support this kind of an organization? So
Thank you. I love
support
you.
her. Virtual hug.
Thank you.
Support
Virtual
her.
hug.
Now let's talk about this
Wonderful.
amazing, beautiful, talented person
Thank
we know as
you.
Chase Masterson.
Thank you.
You've had quite a. I mean, obviously you are known as Lita from Star Trek Deep Space Nine. And can we start there? Is that okay?
Absolutely. Thank you. And I just want to bring you in for a second to the conversation, MaryLee. And I've known you for how long? I mean,
Oh, a year or two at least.
a year or two. And you know what? I wear those things as a badge of honor. I think, old friends are a badge of honor. And I'm not afraid of counting the years because they're good years. Not everyone gets to have these kind of long-standing friendships. And
Oh, thank you, Chase. You're going to make me cry.
Wow.
It's true. I probably met you when, I mean, I know that you're old friends with a lot of the other old friends that I've had.
Oh, yeah.
And
Montgomery and,
and
Garrett Wong and,
yeah,
a bunch of other people. Yeah.
yeah. Well, there's nothing like, I mean, conventions are wonderful, and part of the reason is that core family of friendships that we have in that dealer's room where we can just count on seeing the same people, and we don't get to talk a lot, but hugs and let's start the day is always really lovely.
Oh, yeah. It's a great experience to get to catch up and check up on everybody,
Thank you. Well, you're important. We value you. It wouldn't be the same without any of us.
Thank you.
Wow.
Thank you.
Okay, tissue time.
Of course. Of course. And
It's like
true though.
Anyway, so back to Lita. Deep Space Nine was a wonderful character that you had there, and I don't know if you want to talk a little bit about working with Max. Max, I hope I say it right.
Credentic.
Yeah, okay. And Armin, and of course we just lost Aaron last year.
Yeah.
You want to say a few words about your
Thank
character?
you. Thank you. Well, first I'll say it's hard to believe that Aaron is gone. It even as you said that, it jolted my insides. Partly because we only do these things, we do these conventions every few months, and there has been no Las Vegas convention without him. There's been I wouldn't have been sitting by him yet, probably because we would only see each other once a year, and that's the main thing. I mean, we'd see each other other times and text or talk, but I think in a very real sense, it's yet to hit us. And his wife, Melissa, is a very dear friend, and we're taking good care of her. She and I text and talk pretty often. And
the pictures on Instagram are amazing. All the behind the scenes with Aaron. Yeah.
Thank you. She is lovely, and I'm really happy they had what they had because they were both so in love. And so we're going to bring her to the big Vegas Star Trek convention next year. She's going to room with me. We've got an extra.
Cool.
So yeah, and she's going to remain family for as long as the rest of us are here. So that's one thing, and I guess that it kind of is a good segue into what Deep Space Nine was for so many of us. We had the privilege and honor of being part of stories that mattered. Stories about risk and hope and the importance of doing the right thing and just the importance of keeping or of creating justice and
family too, because they were
family.
The stories kind of evolved with you and Max, not everyone not accepting that relationship, and then Max fighting for you and
yes. The Ferengi family, plus Lita, including Lita, had a lot of really important themes. Rom was the guy that was only pretty on the inside, and Lita loved him with all her heart and broke up with the handsome British doctor so that she could be with Rom, the little kid runt brother who nobody else could assign much value to.
Yeah.
or get it. They weren't getting it. Even Quark was like opposed to it. So
especially Quark, a prophet in his hometown. Rom was really not the guy on any level, but Lita saw who he was. And I think that's an incredibly Star Trek message of to not judge a book by its cover and to look closely and to think more deeply about who each person is and to not ascribe value to any of the external things, whether it's our looks or our jobs or our, even frankly, even our personalities, you know? That's a weird thing to say, even, but the value of a human being is so much more than that. And Lita saw all the wonderful things in Rom, and they had epic love. And I'm so grateful to be part of that storyline.
Very
Oh,
cool.
great.
Thank you.
And I
Thank
love the pictures. I love the pictures of you. So, which, by the way, nice little segue here. I'm gonna, if I may indulge, I have a few images that I'd like to share, and hopefully, Chase, you can comment.
Thank you.
Mr. Technology here. Hopefully, it works. Here we go.
You're wonderful, Lorenzo.
Here we go. So let's start with that.
Thank
Who's that,
you.
who's that gorgeous lady?
That's very kind. I was at a convention in Vienna, at Vienna Comic Con, which was from by Reed Pop, and I guess the lighting isn't the greatest. I'm looking a little tired there. I probably was jet lagged, but I was wearing a dirndl. That's my Lower Austria Bavarian look. That's us, you and Lorenzo, you and Michael and I at Galfrey with your wonderful ribbons. And shall I tell them what we do every year?
So it's coming up. So you want to wait for that, or you want to?
I'll wait for it. I'll wait for it. Okay.
And tell, look at that. Look at how beautiful she is. Okay.
You're very kind. Thank you.
There she is. There
That's
she is.
Lita.
Yeah.
That's
Smart,
Lita.
wise, loving, and tough.
Thank you. Lita was tough, and she didn't wear it on her sleeve, but
Right.
she was solid.
You
And
and Armin had some great scenes. I mean, in terms of the little conflict.
thank you. Well, he was a piece of work, and we all knew it, so somebody had to keep him in line.
How was it working with them, Max and Armin?
Max is one of my favorite human beings on the planet ever. He is gracious and humble and loving and kind and comedically self-deprecating and an incredible writer. If you haven't seen Max sing,
Oh yes, the band.
there's no words that come out of my mouth for Max's talent. He's
Yeah.
beyond amazing as a writer, as a singer, as a person. It just the fun and whimsicality and irreverence of his work is unparalleled.
Wow.
Yeah, I adore him. Huh?
He's a really great singer. He's a really good singer.
Yes, because he approaches everything with his heart. Here's another man who approached everything with his heart, Stan Lee.
Well,
I just absolutely adored Stan. He and I were friends. We met when we were sitting next to each other at
sorry.
at a convention. Thank you. I think
Oh my
it
God. I can't.
2005. I think Stan and I met sitting on a huge convention at Comic-Con panel, a huge panel at Comic-Con, sitting next to each other and just kind of laughed and talked. And then that night we had a dinner. It was in honor of Comic Book the Movie, which was a mockumentary directed by Mark Hamill, in which we all played ourselves and ourselves in the comic book scene. And at this party that Miramax threw for us that night, Stan said, "Come and sit on my lap." And he meant it in the most gentlemanly, like just literally grandfatherly way. And so I did for like a couple hours, and we just, not really on his lap, but we just hung out and talked, and he was incredibly sweet. And we ended up walking the streets of Comic-Con with his friend Gil that night and just had an incredible time, just the three of us, and it was wonderful. I value and loved that man. Here we are at, what was this? That looks like Catalina Bar and Grill. And I was probably hosting some show. I don't even know where you got that photo, but I do love to sing. I sing golden era music of the 40s, 50s, and 60s.
Beautiful.
And
Beautiful.
thank you. It's the music that I've always loved, the most romantic and Um,
Have you and Max talk about doing a CD together, an album?
you know, in our copious spare time, I've always told Max he needs to put the Ferengi Family Hour on CD, and he hasn't had time to do that. Maybe we will someday. I don't know. He lives in Austria now with his wife and daughter,
Wow.
and yeah, he married a fan from Austria, and they're very happy together. They live out in the country. So anyway, yeah,
Oh,
loving to sing. One of my favorite things to do at conventions is to teach kids how to do the live long and prosper sign. They have to make their fingers do it. And these kids were just a joy to be with that
I
day.
remember this. This is in Vegas. I remember this.
In Vegas, yes. Thank you for remembering.
Okay, there's the. Now you have the solid, which I'm wearing, but is the rainbow? Is that kind of another?
Yes, well you're a red shirt today, Lorenzo.
I
So
am.
be
Um,
careful.
for the LGBT, right?
Yes. Yeah,
Okay.
we do have the rainbow, and I'll send you one. Get me your address, and I'd love to gift you that. And
And I'll wear it with pride.
thank you. Thank you. This is Pride Month, and no, well, it's actually 2 days
Yes,
ago was Pride
2 days
Month.
ago,
But I want to say I'll take this opportunity to say that for Comic Con at home, because San Diego Comic Con is going virtual this year, and
Yay! Oh,
thank you. I'm glad they're doing something right.
oh yeah.
Mary, are you going to have a dealer's table there in the virtual space?
Yes, yes. They've invited all of the vendors to do that, so we will be there. Yay!
Good. I'm glad. I'm so glad. We need to continue to support each other. And so um, for Comic Con, we always have one panel. It is usually generally on inclusion and heroism and ending bullying in all its forms. But this year, we felt very strongly about doing a second panel um, for the LGBTQ community. And we have a wonderful project coming out that we'll talk about in our Comic Con at Home panel, which is going to be out on Comic Con Friday, which everyone can look it up. It's in late July. And it is called Lights, Camera, Identity, Never Alone. And that is also the title of a comic book that we have created for LGBTQI plus kids and teens who are struggling with identity issues and who need support in walking into their right to be who they are. So
Wow.
yeah, this comic was written by Raymond Lister, who you've met at conventions. He's my right-hand person. I couldn't do the coalition without him, and without Carrie Goldman, who is our co-founder. Carrie is an amazing author. And so where am I? We did this. Raymond wrote this comic book, and we've gotten it illustrated by a fantastic trans artist named Mr. Loki. And the comic centers around 3 stars from RuPaul Drag Race,
Very
and yes, so Pandora Box,
color.
Silky Nutmeg Ganache, and Jackie Cox, who is currently on the show. They all play in the comic. They're drawn beautifully as mentors for an individual who is presumably, the reader who is struggling. And so these
Wow.
ladies say, look, I had that issue too. I was afraid to step out and be who I was, or I was bullied, I was made fun of, or, I felt, afraid or sad or disconnected in this way. And then I found my community and I made friends with myself and all of those things. And so we have this great panel at Comic-Con, and we're also doing another panel, I believe that it's going to come together on the Black Lives Matter issue, because
Absolutely.
we're not going to have the world we want until we all stand together. And what this country has done to people of color is unconscionable. And any one of us could be a victim of that. We didn't choose where we're born. Any one of us could have been anyone on the planet. So it's just super important for us to stand together. So that will be that'll be our other panel.
Absolutely. And, okay, I'm not going to go there.
Thank you. Then go ahead, MaryLee.
I was going to say it's probably going to be sometime around July 22nd because that's when the virtual Comic-Con starts.
Yeah, July 22nd. So that would be probably Friday the 24th, I guess, or the 23rd or whatever it would be. Thank you for knowing that. So yeah, check it out. And all these panels are going to be rolled out like by the hour. So there's new panels, kind of just like Comic-Con, but then I think they're going to live on the Comic-Con YouTube site.
Yes, they are.
Good. Here are my wonderful cast members for you, Lorenzo and Michael.
Yeah, and pretty much everybody's there. And that's Keiko, right? And then down there?
It is. Keiko grew up.
Yeah, she's not 4 anymore. Wow.
She's not. She's quite a young lady.
And they're all wearing the shirt. Be kind.
Yeah, it was really lovely of them to do this. And Terry particularly has been incredibly supportive of the coalition. And here is
Comic-Con.
this is one of our first panels. I guess actually this is probably in 2015 with the inimitable John Barrowman. Who we all know from Gallifrey and everything else. And John gave us an incredibly powerful talk about his life and his coming out and his he got bullied badly, like to the point of very serious physical fear. And he was very brave and told us that. Sorry, if we could back up for a second, do you mind?
No.
Along with John Barrowman, there is the No Hate. There's Jeff Parsley and Adam Bauska in that photo, No Hate campaign founders. And then this is Bettina Hausman, who is the president of the United Nations Association San Diego. And we were the first people to ever bring the United Nations to a Comic-Con, creating an intersection of pop culture and social justice, which I think is really the best way. You know, that's the Roddenberry way. That's what he was trying to do. So I feel like we're just following in his footsteps, you know?
Absolutely.
And that's Carrie. Carrie is is our co-founder. She's the author of Bullied, What Every Parent, Teacher, and Kid Needs to Know About Ending the Cycle of Fear. And it is published by HarperCollins, and it's won awards. It's
She the one holding the book? Is that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And then Anthony Bresnikan, he was at that point senior reporter for Entertainment Weekly, which I think he's still doing. And then who's behind that? I can't see exactly right now. Let me see later. I don't know why my screen is messed up here. Sorry. Oh, Joe Gatto. My God, who I'm almost missed talking about. So Joe Gatto is this guy in the red pants and the white shirt with the shirt over it. Joe Gatto is the star of Impractical Jokers and Impractical Jokers, the movie. Do you guys know who he is?
I do.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, the world loves Joe. Joe and the Impractical Jokers have sold out Madison Square Garden twice. And like, they're just hilarious people. And Joe's been the biggest celebrity supporter of the coalition's work. He's done signings for us, numerous panels. He wears his Be Kind shirt on the show, on his website, on his appearances, on his social media, everything. And he's flanked by Anna Bauska, who's the photographer for the No Hate campaign. And then one more person here in the glasses on the left is Matt Langdon, who is one of the world's foremost experts in the subject of heroism.
Right.
Very cool.
Awesome.
Thank you.
And
All right, I had to go back, brag about my team.
Here's the part. Remember I said it's coming? All
It's
right.
coming.
This,
There you are.
And what happens every year?
Every year, you and Lorenzo, you and Michael Lorenzo, I'll tell the audience, every year Michael and Lorenzo have the most ribbons of anyone at Gallifrey. And for those of you who might not know, ribbons are given out by individuals to other individuals, and they usually have some sort of inside joke or funny, fun phrase or memorable moment on them. And so you guys somehow, I don't know how, but every year manage to have, of the 4,000 people who attend Gallifrey, you have the most ribbons every year. So several years ago, I asked if I could borrow them for the first time. And every year since, you've lent me your ribbons. 7 years. Wow. Thank you for knowing that. every year I wear Lorenzo and Michael's ribbons onto the stage at Galfrey as a kind of just a celebration of all the joy and fun and
And that's
memorable
how they
moments.
start. Right there, that's day one, you know, and by the closing of the show, there's literally hundreds, literally hundreds. So,
It's amazing. There's so much goodwill and playfulness at that con. Now, I've got to ask you something I've never really asked. How do you manage to get all these every year?
number one, we also participate in passing them out. So,
Right.
usually our ribbons are the top ones of on each of our badges, if you can see there. And then
Okay.
it's just a matter of, you know, if people are giving them out, we'll take them. If people want to trade, we'll take them. And the way we wear them, it's pretty obvious that we're collecting them. So people literally are running, do you want one? Do you want one? So it's not hard to get them. The hardest part is securing them. I'll give you a little trade secret. On the back of it is packing tape, keeping them
Oh,
all
right.
together. So we can walk around and go to the bathroom and, you know, that kind of thing. So
That's
uh,
so great.
otherwise they'd be falling off all over the place.
That's
Now,
really great. Wait, I just want to say one more thing too.
okay.
These ribbons really are a sign of connectivity because for every ribbon you have, you've had at least a brief conversation, a brief hello, thank you. And so it's really, that's the kind of love and fun and friendship and playfulness that permeates, that Gallifrey is infused with. And that is very much because of you guys, Lorenzo and Michael, because of people like you, because of you, MaryLee. There's so much goodwill and nice people, and it's run by Sean Lyon and his incredible team. Nobody could run a convention like they do. It's
It's at the, let's tell them it's at the Marriott in Los Angeles, usually around, I almost said Thanksgiving, around
Valentine's Day.
Valentine's Day.
Valentine's Day. So,
Yes, a very
um,
special day, and it is. Yeah, I don't know if it's gonna be. I have no idea what's gonna happen in this next February, but it's all actually also we're not really pitching it because it always sells out. Galfrey sells out within minutes. It's almost like Comic-Con. Like
yeah.
it's hard to get tickets. So we're not trying to sell anything here. We're just telling you how wonderful it is. And if you can go,
And just so
find a way
you
to go.
know, when Chase goes, one of my favorite things that Chase does at the convention is, and they've moved it around. It used to be its own thing, and then they put it in between the masquerade, you know, when they had the break. But that trivia game that you play, you always win. It's like you're like the star. I mean, trivia person there, and it's like it's amazing how. I mean,
Thank you.
the cheers that you get every time you win is like, I mean,
Thank
and
you.
the guys are pretty cool about it. They're like, okay, we have no chance or whatever.
I have no idea because I'm not a trivia person. I've actually made it a point in my life not to know things that I consider trivia. But or there's also that just a minute game.
Oh, in just a minute, yeah.
And that's super fun. I don't know how I've won. I'm always afraid I'm gonna break my winning streak, but
She
uh,
hasn't. She hasn't yet. I mean, it's pretty incredible.
maybe Lita has some brains. Who knows? I don't know. But
Okay, I'd like to
Yes.
throw out because in looking, I did a little research in some of the shows you've been in and whatnot. If I throw out a title, can you give us a little memory or moment or um, thing that you can share as far as an experience working on that project?
thank you. I'd love to. Yeah, thank you.
Okay, what do you think I'm going to start with?
Well, if not Deep Space Nine,
No. How about General Hospital?
General Hospital. Thank you for asking. That was a very interesting couple of jobs. So the first time I was supposed to be on General Hospital, it was a really quick turnaround. They gave us less than 24 hours. They called at like 5 p.m. and they needed me in the next day for a role. Uh, and I missed the call and they hired someone else.
Wow.
And I was so devastated. This would have been one of my first jobs in LA. And I thought, oh no, I'll never get hired again. That was my one chance to be an actor. And so then they did actually. They were really sweet about it. And they called me back again to do a role opposite Kit Shiner. Um, and it was a 1 day thing. And then a couple years later, they called to have me play somebody else, a totally different girl.
Well, what's listed in your credits is Ivy Leaf.
Ivy Leaf was the second girl. But I was Tamara Moon was the name of the first girl, and then Ivy Leaf was brought in as one of the girls that Mac was dating when he broke up with Felicia. So that was a little arc. It was like 3 episodes or something. It was years ago, I think before Star Trek.
How about something more recent? How about The Flash?
The Flash was fun. I'm very grateful for that. My friend Andrew Kreisberg wrote that role for me when he was executive producer of it. He is no longer on the show. He's
Wow.
had some, he had a lot of difficult things. And that's all I'll say. But Andrew was always a good friend to me. And he wrote that role, and I was really grateful for it. And I got to work with the incredibly talented Flash team.
Grant?
Carlos Valdez is absolutely wonderful, and just all of them. Grant is amazing, an amazing guy, and that show shoots in Vancouver. I'm losing words now, and I really had a great time with that. The role was a girl that Detective West flirts with, and it was a lot of fun.
Wow.
Yeah.
I see ER on your list of credits.
Thanks. ER was a very interesting job. I almost didn't want to go in on that audition because I thought, I'm not going to get this. Why would I go? Why am I going to waste my time? I just thought it wasn't my kind of role, and it was. And I don't mean to say it was, but it is cryptic. But I played the mother of the first child to die on primetime television.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, they had the initial script called for her not to die, and then they went ahead and they decided to do that. And it was an episode that first aired on Thanksgiving of whatever year, and it broke all records of television viewership. That episode. It was the one where George Clooney rescued the child out of the drainage ditch. And so the juxtaposition was that there was one child that you think is going to make it, and one child you think is probably not. And it was reversed. They did rescue the child out of the drainage ditch, but the other child that you thought was going to make it didn't. While her parents, which I was the mother, while her parents were fighting.
Wow.
And yeah, it said a lot of important things.
Wow.
And yeah.
Okay, another little credit that caught my eye was this little tiny film, Robin Hood Men in Tights.
Thank you. I adored working with Mel Brooks. It was an incredible.
Please tell.
So it was an incredible experience. I went in for that audition as a cattle call, where he was literally just bringing people in to meet them. And for a director like Mel Brooks to do that is completely unheard of. Even back then, completely unheard of now. But even back then, it was like, people, they don't do that. So somehow I got this opportunity to go in and meet with him. And we made each other laugh. I don't know how, but we just had this fun little connection. He's Jewish, I'm Italian, it kind of works, whatever, things. And we joked around, and then I got the word that they hired me for the role of Lady Godiva. And so I was really excited about that, and then found out that they wrote the role out and that they were going to look for something else for me. And I thought, well, that is going to be like, that's the kiss of death. Like, we'll call you. We're looking for something else for you. So I thought, what do I do to stay in Mel Brooks' graces? Make him laugh. So I got this scroll, and my sister helped me with this. And because it was Robin Hood, it was a scroll with parchment paper and dowels from Home Depot and red tassels on the sides. And we wrote on the scroll, yes, there once was an actress named Chase who had a quite pliable face. Lead supporting or bit, she was a sure hit. Mr. Brooks, you must find me a place.
Oh.
And he did. He wrote this little role. I think it originally had like 2 or 3 lines for to play opposite Richard Lewis. I was his giggling court lady, main squeeze, whatever. And then what happened next was I was at the premiere, and Mel and I saw each other. I'll never forget this moment. I saw each other from several feet away. He looks over, and he and I are walking to each other, and he scurries over and he says, "Boobala, boobala, mwah, mwah, it's so good to see you, boobala. I got to tell you the good news and the bad news, okay? The good news is you're in the movie. The bad news is you mostly got cut out, but I left you in just a little bit so you could get paid,
Oh, nice. Very
so
nice.
that I could get residuals."
Mhm.
Nice.
I
Wow.
know. It
Wow.
was so sweet. I mean, what? And it turns out that the lines I had were something about it, Richard Lewis being a Fresh Prince, and it was during the time of Fresh Prince of Bel Air, and he thought that that would be a dated joke, and not have legs for years. And anyway, I, it's one of the honors of my life to have had that whole experience happen.
Wow. And it's an amazing movie. It really one of his. I love him.
He's
So anyway,
brilliant in every way.
Yeah.
wow. So
Yeah,
Chase, what other than the coalition, are you doing any other forms of work or?
thank you. I just want to say one other thing about Mel Brooks is
Oh,
that these icons, we're not going to have all of them for much longer. It was 2 days ago that Carl Reiner died,
oh,
and I think of that partly because they're contemporaries and they were such close friends. And I need to do this more. I don't do it enough, but to reach out to our icons and on social media, and even if they don't see us reach out, just to say, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you
Mhm.
for who you've been to us, and
hey,
all of that.
you've got an insight for Mel Brooks, so you should contact
Well,
him and say,
I
"Hey,
wouldn't I
Mel."
wouldn't know how to contact him now. I wouldn't know how, but I don't do that enough, and I should do it more. And I know that they know how adored they are. What am I saying? I know that they know, but it never hurts just to have, all of us, any performer appreciates the I'm not sick. Any performer appreciates that. I don't know why I said it. Not like anyone like Mel Brooks needs me to cheerlead for them. I just needed to
I
take a
bet
minute
he
of
would love
appreciation for these
I,
guys.
yeah,
that.
I bet he would. His son is posting stuff and showing him stuff on social media. I'm sure you can reach out.
Yeah,
You
I
know,
follow. I haven't been there lately, but I'm telling
Just
myself,
do
just
a screen cap of your role, and put boogala boogala here. Hope you're well.
right. Oh my God, I could do that. I hadn't thought of that.
Yeah, and he might
That's a good
respond.
idea. That's a good idea. I'm going to do that.
whether
Thank,
he responds or not, I'm sure he will giggle at it.
Absolutely.
thank
He'll
you.
he'll respond. I follow him on Twitter, and
Yeah, me too. Yeah.
he's
He's
active.
really good about it. Yeah.
Yeah,
That's so
and he
nice.
knows you. So and
That's
I don't get the
really nice.
impression he's losing his memory either. He's not one of
I don't
those.
get that impression either. That's really nice, isn't it?
At
Anyway,
his
thank you
age.
for that. Thank you. I don't mean to go on. Thank you.
No, no, but do it, and then
Fine.
come back and tell us.
Fine.
But anyway, well, is there any other? I had asked you about projects that you're doing now, or
Thank you. I have four movies coming out in the next year. One is called Unbelievable, and it's done with a lot of the series of the cast of Star Trek, all the casts, and it's directed by Stephen Fawcett and produced by Angelique Fawcett, who has become a very dear friend of mine. And Nichelle Nichols is in this film, and um, lots of the cast. And I haven't actually seen it because it's had a huge re-edit, but I know that it's going to be released later this summer. Um, so there's that, called Unbelievable. Second film is
where is
called,
that? Is it
uh,
DVD or is it streaming?
they have a distributor, Indie Rights. I'm so sorry. It's you can find it through the website. You can go on the website or IMDb and find it. Um, um, and I play two roles in that. It's all very interesting and really put together. It's fun. Um, Manipulated is a film that I did that's directed by Matt Berman, where I play a ringleader of a group of women accused of murder. It's a very dark film, made for a low budget, but well. Matt's a good director and writer. The third, I'll just say real fast, Heather McComb turns in some incredible work in that film. If you know her work, check that out. Another film called Skipping Stones, which is directed by S.J. Criazzo. And he is a wonderful indie director. I play a woman who, I don't want to say too much, but a, a troubled mother. And then another film called Je suis auto, in which I play the voice of a sentient car, and I'm only the voice in that. We shot that in Vienna, Austria, and it was a wonderful experience. And it's a comedy, and I don't know when that's going to be out. Probably, I think November or something.
Well, you're busy. That's the main thing. And
things to look forward to.
Thank you. I'll also say briefly, I have the title role in a series that's out by Big Finish called Vienna. And Vienna is a spinoff of their Doctor Who Big Finish work, which of course you guys know much about. And Vienna came on to play the nemesis of the seventh Doctor, Sylvester McCoy, who I adore.
Wow.
And yeah, thank you. Vienna was originally his nemesis, but then was spun off into her own show, and you find out that she's not really a bad person. She is what do you call it? A hit woman, basically. She is a vigilant. What do you call it? I always have the name. She's an assassin. Yes, that's what it is. An impossibly glamorous mercenary assassin with a heart of gold, who always lands on the side of good. So basically, if Vienna is hired to kill someone, she finds out what the real situation is, and then she goes after who the real bad guy is. So, and it's often the person who hired her. And so Vienna has an excellent sense of vigilante justice. And then you find out as the series progresses that she was raised as a child soldier. And
oh, wow.
Yeah, and this series really addresses incredible subjects like that, like children made to be in war. And there's another episode on the falseness of the beauty industry, and another episode about hypocrisy in religion. And there's all sorts of.
So this is Big Finish, and these are audio CDs now available.
Yep, it's called Vienna, and it's available at bigfinish.com. And
I'll add a link.
Thank you. We recorded 4 seasons, and now Vienna's next extravaganza is playing opposite Eric Roberts as the master.
Oh, from the movie.
From the movie, but now he and Vienna are in touch. And I'm not going to say too much about that, but it's really well written and fun. And it was directed by Jason Haig Ellery, who is one of the founders of Big Finish. And I'll just say one other thing, if I may. Yeah. I love Big Finish because all of our imaginations are so much more powerful than any visuals you can be given. So these do let your imagination run wild as you listen to stories, and you can get great stories without the studio spending $300 million.
Right.
And how often can that happen? So all of these stories never would have been made because, but you get epic adventure for cheap.
I'll throw in my 2 cents because I love audio storybooks. I have the Doctor Who series. I have some Star Trek. For me, the way I think of it is like my visual imagination is going to be different from yours.
Yeah.
You're going to picture this scene in your world, so to speak. And that's what makes it fun. It's like, oh, wow. If I were to direct this film, it would look different if you directed the film.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
That's what I like.
And it's like books on tape. But it's also, you get all the different actors. You get the actual actors, the original actors from Doctor Who. And
emotion.
And the emotion. It's not an author, which an author reading their book is wonderful, but this is slightly more. And so it's super fun.
Right.
They do a great job.
They do.
Really dragging you into it.
Sound effects.
Sound effects, music, all of it. So yeah, it's fun.
Yeah.
So
yeah. I'll add a link to that so people can look for you.
Thank you. I appreciate
and discover.
Thank you. That's really nice. Thank you. If I
Right.
may show, I did bring to show your fans because I know you're friends with a lot of the Doctor Who community. So we have these Be Kind shirts. Laugh
Oh,
hard, run
okay.
fast, be kind.
Oh, nice.
Oh,
And
nice.
where is that? There you go. And then our usual Be Kind shirts, which obviously you're wearing and we've discussed, but uh, these are super fun. And yep, yay you, thank you.
Hey.
And 100% of the proceeds goes to making our programs happen, including the heroic journey at home. Now that schools are not in session, we're giving mental health tools, creating and providing them for free.
Very cool. And I still want the LGBT one.
You're gonna get it, honey.
I didn't know it existed.
MaryLee, I want to send you. Yeah, absolutely. You and Michael and MaryLee all.
Oh,
Cool.
thank you. Yeah.
Well, is there anything you want to say to your fans? And again, thank you so much for doing this for us. This is amazing.
My
It's
pleasure.
wonderful. You're enlightening. You're exciting. I'm
Thank
I'm
you.
gonna tear myself up. Sorry.
I love you guys very much. It's always good to see you. It's never often enough. So my pleasure. I jumped at the chance to do this, and you're really great friends.
Thank you so much.
Thank
So are
you.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
How
Thank
about
you.
your fans? Want to say anything to them?
I do. I love you guys, and thank you so much for being here for me for so long and in so many ways. And thank you for your hearts and the things you stand for. And I know that that's what you see in these stories, and I'm just grateful to be a part of some of them. And keep being you and contending for this to be a world where we can all live long and prosper.
Oh, thank you. Thank you,
Oh
Chase.
my God. Oh my God. You're amazing. You're amazing. I'm
I'm
gonna
just,
say it.
I'm
You're amazing.
grateful. I'm grateful.
You're
You know,
amazing.
I'm very, very grateful to have you guys as friends and you guys as a group of like-minded, like-hearted people.
Oh, thank you. And thank you for everything you're doing. I mean,
Thank
the
you.
inspiration alone is just, we need it at this time.
Well, we're all in this crazy world together, right? So
Absolutely.
Right. Oh, yeah,
thank you.
definitely.
Thank you.
Emphasis on the crazy.
Right?
Anyway, but
All right.
that's it for this particular episode. Chase Masterson is an amazing person. If you get a chance to see her at any convention, be it San Diego, Gallifrey, wherever, if she's appearing, make sure you go to her table. She's gracious, she's kind, she's got pictures for you. You can support the organization that's helping kids all over the world.
Thank you. Thank
it's-
you. Our merchandise is bekindmerch.org if you want to support.
Okay. I need to put that on the link too. So much to link. Anyway, she was.
But it'll all be below.
Yeah. And again, we want to make sure you hit the subscribe button, and then there's other shows that we do. It's
The
called
like,
Oh,
the
yeah.
notification button,
Okay.
the like button, do it all. If you have a question or comment for Chase, we'll try and forward them to
And
him below.
share it if you can. Sharing is always good, especially this episode. Come on. I'm sure you have kids or people that are need to hear this kind of thing, or where to go, or what's available. And Chase is leading the pack as far as making the world a better place.
Well, my pleasure with you guys. We're all together. So thank you. And I hope that things clear up and I hope to see you soon. But if not, stay safe. Wear your mask. Be value your life and lives of others and just do what the scientists say and we'll get through this.
Absolutely. And soon there'll be a vaccine. So
Hopefully, yes.
back to convention.
Right. Love you guys.
Thank you so much, Chase, and everyone. We'll see you in the next episode. And thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me, Lorenzo and MaryLee. Thank you. I love you guys.
Love you too.
Thank you. Hi to
Bye.
Mike. Okay, bye. Bye, everyone.